So I just got them making a catnip video, still right just next to the catnip. And I said, you know, this houndstongue right here might be a good example. I'm trying to focus on invasive plants, not only because a lot of times they make really good, safe, simple medicine, but also the more you focus on invasive plants where you live, the more you're helping your bioregion. And a lot of these invasive plants, like catnip, houndstongue, things like that, were brought over by people's ancestors, our ancestors, my ancestors, your ancestors, because they knew that they were of medicinal value or food value. Now, this is not one that you're going to use internally. However, this crazy invasive plant right here, check out her blooms. Do those look familiar to anybody? They might look familiar because they kind of look like comfrey blooms. And that's because she is related to comfrey. Now, these blooms can be blue, be more of a purple color, bright pink color, they kind of vary. Now, the problem with houndstongue is that each set of these blooms is going to turn into about 400 seed heads, those burrs that get stuck all over you, and so they're really invasive that way, and they kill our deer pretty badly because the deer goes by, picks it up on their hide, on their hair, and then the burr will work into their skin if it doesn't fall off, and then it will create an infection and the animal dies, or at the very least they're weakened by it. But so you're like, oh, that's a horrible plant, why would I want to work with her? Because she's amazing. She's just like comfrey externally, where if you take these leaves and you dry them and you make an oil and then make that oil into a salve, you can start healing up some wounds. She's really good for that. She's also been used just like comfrey for healing up bones, where if you sprain your ankle or break your leg and you make a poultice out of her leaves, she can help that bone heal quicker. Now, unlike hybrid comfrey, this plant cannot be used internally because she has problematic alkaloids. But externally, she's pretty amazing. And not just for wounds. If you've got skin issues, bacterial infections, anything like that, acne even. For all of you who love my black salve, I definitely use her in my black salve. She's just healing up stuff pretty amazing. And she's crazy invasive. Like, she's so invasive where we live. I've got myself a little... Most of the time, if you live in the farming area, you can go down to your county ag department and ask them for a booklet or some paperwork or anything on all the invasive plants in your area, because farmers really catalog the stuff that they have a problem with, because this is hurting cattle and stuff too. And I've got myself a little book, a little handy book for Eastern Oregon, and she's definitely in it. So you can probably just Google your county name or your state name and houndstongue, and it will pop up and you can read about how invasive it is. So you'd be hard pressed not to come along her, at least in farming areas. And now if I can find some, this is her second year. Her first year she, there's some. Her first year she doesn't create this bloom. She looks like this, follow me. So here's another second year. You can see all the blooms coming up. But her first year looks like this. And you might confuse her for mullein, but she's not. Let me see if I can find a better one. She, let's see, over here, look. So, like, it's not gonna hurt this plant to kill it. Well, it is gonna hurt it to kill it, but that's a good thing for the environment. So, the best example of a first year that's bigger and healthier, this bull thistle's getting at me, is it will look just like this with no blooms. So it's just going to have these long, draping, very soft. Some people say they stink. Some people say they smell like a mouse, but I've never smelt that before. It might be a different variety that I've never come across, but that's basically what she'll look like minus that. You're like, oh, you hurt the plant. I know I did, but sometimes we even come out here when we're not harvesting and we find her and we just cut her down. Because even though she is good medicine, we aggressively harvest her or kill her because she will be killing our wildlife, and she will take over entire fields and push out other native plants. So that's another really cool thing about when you're working with invasive plants, is that you don't have to worry about how much you're harvesting. because the more you harvest, the more you're helping your bioregion. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, if I take too much Houndstongue, it won't come back. Well, good. We want it to not come back, and we want to utilize this medicine while we can and just help our land. So if you like my videos, if you like all this stuff I rant about and get on here and my half-ass information, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, come find me on Instagram, and leave comments. That way I know that you're here and you're watching. So also, you know, you can learn how to make all these infused oils yourself. I want you to know that you're smart enough to ID these plants. You're smart enough to get out here. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on like classes to learn about plants before you go and meet the plants. Let your curiosity teach you. Be like, what is that plant? I wonder what she is. I'll take a picture and I'll find out what she is. And oh, I've identified her and I wonder what she's good for. Oh wow, she's good for these things. Now you know about that plant. You know, you are smart enough to do this, okay? So I will see you next time, all right? Bye.